Hey everyone, Sean Phillips here. So this is my first data analysis assignment. It's also the first time I've ever done a webcam, so bear with me. I'm also kind of getting over a cold, so I apologize if you can't understand me. But as I've mentioned before, I'm doing a qualitative case study on the curriculum mapping process at the College of Medicine for USF. And for the purposes of my study, I'll adopt an autoethnographic qualitative single case study approach to detail the processes of planning and developing a customized software program utilized for the creation of a comprehensive curriculum map. I'm also choosing to incorporate an autoethnographic approach due to my personal involvement with the study and the project itself. I, as the researcher, personally acted as the subject matter expert for the building of the curriculum map, and therefore, according to Ellis and Bachner, an autoethnographic approach seems to be most fitting for me. I'll also provide elements of personal narrative and experiences in order to detail the process in a chronological manner. So I'll frame my research design as a case study in order to provide a contextual representation of the phenomenon, and that's based on Baxter and Jack's approach. The context of the research will be essential to the case. An undergraduate medical education program's curriculum is very complex, and in order to create a customizable data collection and reporting system for other institutions to possibly utilize, the various elements of an undergraduate medical school's curriculum must be accounted for and aligned with elements emphasized by our accrediting bodies. I apologize, I'm reading. I didn't memorize any of this. So I'll also use a pragmatic approach as my paradigm for the study, and I'll draw from Cresswell's interpretation, described as knowledge claims arise out of action and situations and consequences. There's a concern with applications, as in what works and what doesn't, and the solutions to problems. Since my research involves such a hands-on approach and focused on the process of developing and designing a tool for practical purposes, I believe a pragmatic approach is the most fitting and suited for my study. Elements of narrative inquiry will also be adopted for the purposes of my study. Chase describes narrative inquiry as a type of qualitative inquiry that revolves around an interest in life and experiences as narrated by those who lived them. So I'll utilize narrative inquiry as an effort to illustrate the chronological account of the developmental process, as well as demonstrate best practices for adoption by peer institutions. So I collected data through the duration of the project, which began roughly January 2016, and is lasting to an anticipated date of December 2017. I believe by December 2017 I will be done collecting any data. My primary source of data was collected from first-hand notes and minutes taken from collaborative strategic planning meetings with all stakeholders involved. Each month consisted of 3 different planning meetings with different stakeholders and varying agendas. The minutes and notes have been compiled chronologically in an archive database with dates and attendees to detail when decisions were made, who they were made by, what ideas were developed, by whom, those sort of things. 1 meeting per month was electronically recorded, and these recordings will eventually be transcribed and utilized as data resources as well. I'll also conduct data analysis using grounded theory approach. According to Charmez, grounded theory is useful when analyzing a process, so this will be my main approach to analyzing the data. And I'll probably utilize software systems such as NVivo or some of the other ones that we ran across earlier this semester. So through the utilization of grounded theory, I'll also be able to organize my archive notes and minutes into related categories using keywords and terms. And in doing so, I will be able to analyze any data in such a way that I expect to discover correlating relationships between different groups of stakeholders that were involved during the strategic planning process. I'll also use member checking throughout the data analysis process to ensure all information was captured accurately and all interpretations were made precisely. So I'll utilize member checking to test the research data with participants of the study, and that's according to Lincoln and Guba. And by revealing the data to the participants, I can ensure that all views and interpretations of the participants were captured accurately. I'll also find that this will be useful for establishing trustworthiness and decreasing the chance of misrepresentation. In an extra effort to establish trustworthiness, I'll utilize reflexivity to examine both myself as the researcher and my relationship with the research. So, with that being said, that concludes my first data analysis assignment. See you guys in class. Thanks.